I don't know, but as she hasn't appeared, I start and then we'll see. If she comes,
Yes.
okay. So, there she is. Ahí está.
Yes.
There is Claudia. Okay, so we can start. Okay. Claudia, you look prettier today. She cannot hear.
Espera, voy a cerrar la puerta.
Hear me. Ah, no, she left.
She's
She's
not
going
hearing.
to close the door.
Ah, my God.
Yes.
Yes, because we are all at home now. A ver, Claudia, are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
I said that you look prettier today. I don't know if
yes.
you
Yeah.
have makeup or whatever.
Ay, yes, because estoy en el estudio. Pinté un poquito.
Ah, very good, very good.
Mira, mi estudio, te muestro. Mira.
She's not at home. She's at the studio.
¿Ves? Está lleno de
Ah,
papelito.
Qué lindo, qué lindo. Very good, very good.
Lleno de
Okay,
papelito.
so we were starting chapter 15.
Yes.
And I marked, I don't know if anybody marked anything, but the paragraph that says the woman was hardly ever seen at all. This is one, two, three, fourth paragraph in chapter 15.
yes. Yes.
The woman was hardly ever seen at all. Though the man,
Yes.
he was known as Uncle Doc, was a fixture about the square. So this is what we said about this woman who is always at home, and people didn't know her. And look at the description of the man. A dirty little old man with a face which had once been either courageous or violent, either a visionary or a supreme egoist, collarless, in dirty blue jean clothes, and with a heavy piece of hand-peeled hickory worn about the grip, dark as walnut and smooth as glass. So, as Teresa said, he's very dirty, very nasty, yes? And this is the man that people knew because he went to the square, yes? And he said that he had a position in Memphis, that he had a job in Memphis. Probably this is when he went to see Christmas, right? Because remember that the orphanage was in Memphis,
Yes.
okay? So, and some lines below it says, there was nothing beaten about him. It was rather that confidence of a man who has had the controlling of lesser men and who had voluntarily and for a reason which he believed that no other man could question or comprehend, changed his life. So, this is the way in which he is seen by the people again. This is what
Yes.
people thought about him, yes? That he had a position, that he had a job, and that then he lost it, yes? But that his job was a job of a position, that he had power over other people, no? That he was a boss or something, yes? Um, but of course, this is where he was. He was at the orphanage and then in prison. We know the real story, yes? Uh,
Yes.
the next paragraph says, then he lost the Memphis job or quit it. No?
Yes.
We know what happened. And then in the middle of that paragraph, it says that this white man who very nearly depended on the bounty and charity of Negroes for sustenance was going single handed into remote Negro churches and interrupting the service to enter the pulpit and, in his harsh, dead voice and at times with violent obscenity, preach to them humility before all skins lighter than theirs, preaching the superiority of the white race. So, this is what he told them, that he was superior. This is why I say this is astonishing, because he went to the Negro churches to tell the Negro people that he was superior to them. And apparently, some people obeyed him. So,
Yes. Gave him food. in return.
Claro. I'm looking for-
I know.
So this is, I mean, the question again is this question that we were discussing before, the question of the way people see us, no? These Negro people felt that they were uh, below the white people. They felt that. They,
That they deserve the way they were treated.
claro, they deserved it.
Yes, yes.
No, it's incredible. And in a way, this is what Faulkner is saying. The Negroes were not slaves, but they behaved like slaves,
Yes.
even after
Yes.
the revolution. Even after that, even after the Civil War, they behaved like slaves. They felt that that the white race had a superiority over them, and so you cannot do anything against it. And so
Well, this is a little logic, no? Because if you had centuries of enslaved, then suddenly we can. It's impossible that you think that a free person.
yes, yes.
Yes.
I was watching the other day an Indian serial, no, and I was surprised how the people accepted that the policemen hit them. The people were taken to the police station, and the policemen hit them directly, and the men accepted that and were afraid. And I said, but how can this be? Well, this is, I mean, how they behave, like as if they were, I don't know, a lower category, or you know what I mean? It's they
Yes.
didn't rebel against that. Here we cannot accept that.
This is now.
Now, yes, now they have this
Now.
habit, or this culture of being, um, attacked.
Es el sistema de castas que no se lo pueden
Claro,
sacar de
Claro,
encima.
claro.
claro, es terrible, because the policemen hit them, and they, instead of shouting or complaining, or I don't know, they crouch, no, like babies, and they accept the
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 punishment.
punishment.
The
well,
punishment.
punishment, no. So it's, I mean, and nobody
Yes.
reacted. The other people at the
No.
for
Yes.
them it was normal.
It's normal. It's accepted as
Qué terrible, no? It's
no.
so this paragraph finishes, since God to them was a white man too. And here you have the explanation.
Yes.
God to them was a white man too. And he's doing also a little inexplicable. So the Negro people thought that God was white. And so they had to accept.
Yes, but it's interesting because they say the Negroes believed that he was crazy, touched by God, or having once touched him. They probably did not listen to, could not understand much of what he said.
Claro.
Tampoco entienden, entonces de pronto piensan, bueno, a lo mejor es Dios, o está tocado por
Está
Dios.
tocado por Dios. ¿Qué cosa? No, it's incredible. The system, no? The system of oppression.
Yes, yes.
It's a system of oppression. This is Lacan,
Yes.
probably, no? This idea that,
They naturalize, they internalize the situation, and this is normal for.
claro, for them it was the normal thing. God was white, and so this man had a right to shout at them and to insult them. And as Gabriela said, they gave him food. No,
Yes.
so
Yes, they gave him food because, well, they respect them, him
because he was white.
yes, he was white, and he said he talked with them. He cried. He cried. No, he shut.
He said that God had told him to do this. No, that he was a messenger from God.
Yes.
Well, yo qué sé.
This idea of the system that you mentioned, well, I listen to reggae a lot, and reggae groups that are normally in the past were all made up of black people.
Yes.
And originally it was a music of in which people protested against oppression
Yes.
and against the system. And they came from generations of people who had been slaves and had
Oppressed.
been oppressed, who had
Yes.
been, or their ancestors had been slaves. And for example, Bob Marley, who is the most famous one, we could say he knows him. His father was a British man who came in a ship.
His
So
father
that's why
British.
he's mixed. And his mother was a black woman who lived in Jamaica.
I thought
So you see a lot, even in people nowadays. This writer that I told you about, Ines, Benjamin Zephaniah,
yes,
who was born from Jamaican parents. Well, he's contemporary,
yes,
and he was raised in Jamaica, in London, and at school he was discriminated against, and he suffered from dyslexia. So he was mistreated by teachers, by students. They told him that he was silly, dumb, stupid, and he ended up being a poet. And the queen wanted to give him a kind of title or order or whatever, and he rejected the order, telling her that he couldn't accept any prizes from somebody who had oppressed his ancestors.
Good.
So it continues nowadays because it comes kind of in their blood. They know that people before them, their ancestors have been oppressed for such a long time, and now they are still reacting. They are still trying to react.
Yes.
So long ago, this man must be my age, Zephaniah. So
Yes.
it has continued.
Yes. It is still present. It's a system, no? A system of oppression. And
Yes.
Yes, but at that moment, at the north, the people reacted in a different way. It's not the same.
Now,
This is the south. No, at that time, during the 30s,
yes.
south was completely different than the north.
You mean in the States? Yes. Now I understand. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but not in the
At
south.
the time of the novel, it wasn't a special place. It's the south and little town with the people with a lot of prejudice, very ignorant.
Yes. No, terrible. Then there is another paragraph. You skip one paragraph, and the paragraph that begins Christmas with a admiration mark. Christmas, one of the men who held him cried back, his face too strained, glaring. Christmas, that white nigger that did that killing up at Jefferson last week. This is the moment when they found Christmas in the city, in Mottstown. Yes, and they catch him. Heinz glared at the man, his toothless mouth lightly foamed with spittle. This description is horrible.
Yes, I agree.
Qué horrible, ¿no? Le salía como espuma. Then he struggled again, violent, cursing. A frail little old man with the light, frail bones of a child, trying to fight free with the stick, trying to club his way into the center where the captive is Christmas, ¿no? Lo tiene ya cautivo. Stood bleeding about the face. Now, Uncle Doc, they said, holding him. Now, Uncle Doc, they got him. He can't get away. Here, now. Because the people try to stop him because he wants to kill Christmas.
Yes.
No? And the men are catching him, grabbing him to take him to jail. But they are not planning to kill him. But he hits him. He makes him bleed. Yes. And something very strange. In the next paragraph, in 4 lines after the beginning, it says, of the entire group, the captain
Yes,
was the only calm one.
yes. Christmas, he's always calm. He accepts his destiny, no?
Yes. All the others are shouting and kicking and beating. and he is the only one who is calm because he has come to his destination. He wanted to be caught, and now he has been
Yes.
caught. No, he has been caught. Uh, and at the end of the paragraph, it says, "Kill the bastard!" he cried. "Kill him! Kill him!" And this is his grandfather.
Mhm.
So it is terrible. It is even more terrible than before because we know that he is his grandfather and he wants him to be killed. No, uh, so uh, they catch him, they take him to jail, but they cannot do anything. Why? Because this prisoner belongs to Jamestown. They have to wait to keep him there because the sheriff that has to come is the sheriff from Jamestown.
From
Right.
Jefferson.
No, not from here. Uh, and in the next two paragraphs later, more or less, it says, Christmas, the man said, that nigger murderer, Christmas. Uh, she stood at the edge of the porch, looking down at them with her gray, still face, as if she already knew what I would tell her, the man said to his companion as they returned to the car. Like she wanted all at the same time for me to tell her it was him and it wasn't him. What does he look like? She said. This is the woman, eh? When they take
Mm.
Doc Hines, who was completely mad, shouting, two men take him home. And the one who opens the door is obviously his wife. And she understands at that moment what is happening, no? And so she says, "What does he look like?" "I never noticed much," the man said. "They had to bloody him up some catching him. Young fellow. He don't look no more like a nigger than I do, either. Of course, he doesn't look like a black man. He is." The woman looked at them, down at them. Between the two men, Heinz stood on his own legs now, muttering a little now as if he were waking from sleep. "What do you want us to do with Uncle Doc?" the man said. She did not answer that at all. It was as though she had not even recognized her husband. The man told his companion later. "What are they going to do with him?" she said. "Him," the man said. "Ah, the nigger. That's for Jefferson to say. He belongs to them up there." She looked down at them, gray, still, remote. "Are they going to wait on Jefferson?" "They," the man said. "Oh," he said. "Well, if Jefferson ain't too long about it." He shifted his grip on the old man's arm. "Where do you want us to put him? Because the two men want to leave Doc Hines there, no?" The woman moved them. She descended the steps and approached. "We'll tote him into the house for you," the man said. "I can tote him," she said. She and Heinz were about the same height, though she was the heavier. She grasped him beneath the arms. "Euphos," she said, not loud. "Euphos." She said to the two men quietly, "Let go, I got him." They released him. He walked a little now. They watched her help him up the steps and into the door. She did not look back. "She never even thanked us," the second man said. "Maybe we ought to take him back and put him in jail with the niggers, since he seemed to know him so well." "Euphos," the
Mm.
first man said. "I've been wondering for 15 years what his name might be. Euphos. Come on, let's go on back. We might miss some of it." The first man looked at the house, at the closed door through which the two people had vanished. She nodded him too. "Note whom? That nigger, Christmas." "Come on," they returned to the car. "What do you think about that darn fellow coming right into town here, within 20 miles of where he done it, walking up and down the main street until somebody recognized him?" So these two men represent the community. Yes, and they cannot understand why Christmas had been walking up and down the street to be recognized. No, I mean, they cannot understand this, and at the same time, they realize that Doc Hines and his wife both knew him. So the community starts realizing that there is something between the couple and Christmas, no? But of course, they want to go back to Jefferson, to Mottstown, to see what happens, because the one possibility was that the whole town lynched uh, Christmas, no?
Yes.
If the sheriff doesn't come quickly, they are going to kill him there, right? Now, there is another thing. They haven't killed him yet because the one who found him wants the reward. Remember that
Right.
is $1,000 of reward, no? And that is still there. Mm. So, what happens in the house between the couple when they enter the house? Uh, it is very, very astonishing to see the situation inside the house, because the woman puts the man in the chair, no?
She questions him.
Como?
She kind of asks him where the baby is, because she had always been suspicious, but she hadn't dared to ask, I imagine.
Yes, she, and in the next paragraph where it says, in the hall of that little house, yes, you go to the end of that paragraph. In the middle, it says, she was trembling violently.
Mm.
Then it says, when she spoke, her voice shook, and she strove with it, shaking. So the woman is really very, 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 very nervous, and
Mm-hmm.
she tells him, look at what she says. Euphos, you listen to me. You got to listen to me. I ain't worried you before. In 30 years, I ain't worried you. But now I am going to. I am going to know, and you got to tell me, what did you do with Millie's baby,
Millis was the daughter,
their daughter?
Yeah.
Yes.
their daughter.
So,
And 30 years is the age of Christmas. 30
Yes.
years.
because then when she tells her story to Hightower, we discover that when the baby was born, her daughter died because there wasn't a doctor. She asked her husband, Euphus, Doc Hines, to go and look for a doctor, and he never went. He
Mm.
left the house, he stayed at the door,
Oh my God.
and he let his daughter die. So
Yes.
this is very, very cruel. And when the girl died, because the delivery was terrible, the woman looked after the baby. And then one day he came and took the baby without telling her. She was washing clothes or doing something,
Yes.
to the
Wow.
house and took the baby. So she had the baby. She looked after the baby at the beginning for some time. But one day he appeared and he took the baby without saying anything to her. So now her reaction comes with all the force, with all the violence. Yes, she wants to know, what did you do with Millie's baby? Yes,
With the anguish of 30 years, no? Of not knowing 30 years.
yes. So now the one who takes the let's say the 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 lead, the one who's going to do what she wants, is the woman. Now she will uh, direct and order her husband. Yes, and he will have to obey. Yes,
I would say ella, from now on, ella toma la posta.
exacto. Ahora ella
Yeah.
es la que manda, ¿sí? Sí, tal cual, ¿sí? Uh, so in the next, there is a space after that, and you go to the jail. No, we leave them and we go to the jail. This is again this cinematographic technique, no, of changing the place. Uh, and there it says, though through the long afternoon, yes, uh, this is the community. Through the long afternoon, they clotted about the square and before the jail. The clerks, the idle, the countrymen in overalls, they talk. Look at this, they talk,
So,
¿no? Es lo que se habla, lo que se dice, todo ahí, porque no existe gramaticalmente the talk, ¿sí? Es como una metáfora. Todo el mundo ahí afuera de la prisión y lo que hay no es gente, es lo que dicen, the talk. It went here and there about the town, dying and burning again like a wind or a fire, until in the lengthening shadows the country people began to depart in wagons and dusty cars, and the townspeople began to move supperward. No, so they leave, they go to their houses or they go to have supper, but there the talk remains. No, a terrible picture, no? As if what they said was still there in the yard near the jail, no? Condemning him. And then in the next paragraph, you have the explanation. Then yesterday morning he came into Mottstown in broad daylight on a Saturday with the town full of folks. He went into a white barber shop like a white man, and because he looked like a white man, they never suspected him. Even when the bootblacks saw how he had on a pair of second-hand brogans that were too big for him, they never suspected. They shaved him and cut his hair, and he paid them and walked out and went right into a store and bought a new shirt and a tie and a straw hat with some of the very money he stole from the woman he murdered. So you see, Christmas did all this. He went to the barbers, he went to the shop, he bought new clothes, no, and nobody realized. And then he walked the streets in broad daylight, like he owned the town, walking back and forth with people passing him a dozen times and not knowing it until Halliday saw him and ran up and grabbed him and said, "Ain't your name Christmas?" And the nigger said that it was. He never denied it. He never did anything. He never acted like either a nigger or a white man. That was it. That was what made the folks so mad. For him to be a murderer and all dressed up and walking the town like he dared them to touch him, when he ought to have been skulking and hiding in the woods, muddy and dirty and running. It was like he never even knew he was a murderer, let alone a nigger too. So people got angry because he wasn't escaping and he wasn't dirty. He was all dressed up and walking like,
yes, yes.
no. And so Holiday, he was excited thinking about that $1,000. Acá tenemos la recompensa. And he had already hit the nigger a couple of times in the face. And the nigger acting like a nigger for the first time and taking it, not saying anything. This is very, very unusual, you see, because he acted like a nigger because he didn't say anything. So black people accepted the other people beating him. Es terrible esto, es terrible, es terrible. So,
Just bleeding, silent and quiet. It's incredible. Yeah.
no, claro, que sí, se comportó como un negro porque no reaccionó.
Claro. No dijo nada y solo ahí sangrando.
Halliday was hollering and holding him when the old man they called, Uncle Doc Hines, came up and began to hit the nigger with his walking stick until at last 2 men had to hold Uncle Doc quiet and took him home in a car. So,
Inés, this is another vision of the situation, no?
exactly. Very good.
Different points of view.
Different points of view. Now we see what the community could see, no? He saw a man all well dressed, yes, walking, coming back, forth and back, and Halliday, this member of the town, discovering him and grabbing him hitting him, and he doing nothing, no? He said, yes, my name is Christmas, that's all, no? And how Doc Hines appears, and this is again this idea of the circle, yes? Because they met and they were together when he was a child at the orphanage. And now the circle has closed. It's a different place because this is Mottstown and the other place was Memphis. But they get together again, right? What we can call a coincidence, let's say, no. The question is, why does Christmas appear in Mottstown and not in Jefferson? Precisely, in Mottstown, his grandparents live.
No, because the track gives him to this
Claro,
town.
claro, but just there is where his grandparents live.
Ah, okay.
Podría haber sido otro lugar. Y no, es acá donde están los abuelos. Qué cosa, ¿no?
But he didn't know.
He didn't know. That's why I say that this is, I mean, more than a coincidence. This is
Yes, yes.
way of, trapping him, no? Because he appears in a town that he doesn't know.
Yes, yes.
Wants to be caught, but what a coincidence. This is the town where Doc Hines lives, no?
Inés, some time ago, I read something I think Hegel said,
Yes.
que la casualidad no existe, es una causalidad que ignoramos.
Claro.
I think it's good, no?
Claro.
It's good.
And this is the idea here. Why is he in Mottstown? He could be in Jefferson, where he committed the murder, or in any other town.
In Memphis, maybe.
In Memphis. No, he's here. And just there, when Doc Hines appears and says, oh, Christmas, and he starts hitting him. No, abomination of nature. No, it's... No. So, well, then they catch him, obviously. They take him to jail. And what does the woman do? If you skip some paragraphs, there is a paragraph that says she went straight to the jail. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs.
At the bottom of the page, yes, she went straight.
She went straight to the jail. There was a big crowd in front of it because Jefferson had sent word that they were on the way down to get the nigger. She walked right through them and into the jail, and she said to Metcalf, I want to see that man they caught. No? Of course, she's talking to the deputy, no? Con el aguacero.
Yes.
What do you want to see him for? Metcalf says.
Ay,
I ain't going to bother him.
las dejo porque me estoy quedando sin batería.
Ay,
Estoy quedando sin nada de batería.
¿podés enchufarlo en algún lado? Ay, pobre.
Sí, yo hace un rato tuve que ir a enchufar mi máquina que me había quedado también.
Bueno, esperemos a ver si vuelve. Si no, está grabado. A ver. She says, I ain't going to bother him. I just want to look at him. So imagine the suffering, no, for her. Metcalf told her that there was a right smart of other folks that wanted to do that, and that he knew she didn't aim to help him escape, but that he was just the jailer, and he couldn't let anybody in without he had permission from the sheriff. And her standing there in that purple dress and the plume, not even nodding and bending, she was that still. Where is the sheriff? So you see, she is dressed in a red dress, no, like Sunday dress, with a hat with a plume, no, se vistió como de fiesta, and she is decided. She wants to see the sheriff, no, because she wants to see Christmas. He might be in his office, Metcalf says. You find him and get permission from him. Then you can see the nigger. So she starts her work, let's say uh, her
Peregrinaje,
exacto.
maybe.
She starts her pilgrimage. Now she will go to the sheriff. She will go to Jefferson. She will go after him to see him. She wants to see Christmas. Yes. Uh, she goes to the sheriff. She cannot find him. Uh, if you skip the paragraph, it says, "He ain't here. I'm his deputy. What can I do for you?" He said she didn't answer for a while. Then she said, "Where can I find him? He might be at home." No? So if you skip that paragraph, she never found the sheriff. Found it?
Yes.
Yes.
Because the sheriff was already in jail.
Claro.
He was there.
Él se había ido a la cárcel. But it was too late then, anyway, because the sheriff was already at the jail. Only Metcalf hadn't told her, and besides, she hadn't got good way from the jail before the Jefferson officers came
Ay,
in two
pobre.
cars and went into the jail. Sí, pobre, pobre, porque se lo llevan, ¿no? What does she do after that? She wants to go to Jefferson, and she goes to ask for the price of a man who drives a car.
Yes.
But it's too expensive to rent a car for her,
Exacto,
for them.
exacto. If you skip many,
They have to wait for a train
claro, exacto.
for a long time. People look at them like as if they were crazy because they.
Because I mean, it's incredible. She goes with the man, carrying the man, yes, making the old man move. If you skip some paragraph, 4 or 5 paragraphs, it says they went straight to the garage. They went straight to the garage where Salmon keeps his rent,
Yes.
and she did all the talking. Go to the next paragraph. I can't pay that, she says. You won't
Yes.
get it done no cheaper, Salmon says, unless by railroad. They'll take you for 52 cents apiece. But she was already going away with Uncle Doc following her like a dog would. So she walked and the man followed her. She goes to
Yes.
the train station. That was about 4 o'clock. Until 6 o'clock, the folks saw them sitting on a bench in the courthouse yard. They had to wait for I don't know how long, all dressed up, sitting there. No, she didn't move until the train came. So
8 hours they had to wait there.
8 hours waiting at the train station, and the woman sitting there. In the next paragraph, it says they sat there until the clock struck 6. Then they got up. Folks that saw it said she never said a word to him. So she didn't speak to the man. She stayed there for waiting for the train. And then 3 paragraphs later, I want 2 tickets on it, she says. And the man says, that train is not due until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, no.
If you want to get to Jefferson anytime soon, you'd better go to town and hire a car. Pero ella ni les contesta, ¿no? She stayed there. She buys the tickets and she stays there for 8 hours, as Teresa said. And then the man, always there, and look at the end of the chapter, no? They could hear her say shh, shh to him, and then his voice would break out. They were still sitting there when the agent turned on the lights and told them that the 2 o'clock train was coming, with her saying shh, shh, like to a baby, and Uncle Doc hollering, bitchery and abomination, abomination and
Mm.
bitchery. So
This is what he said to the dietitian
that's right.
when he talked about the dietitian too.
So there, the two of them, 8 hours waiting at the station until the train came. She only told him shh, shh all the time, and he repeated bitchery and abomination. You remember that, as Gabriela said, he told the dietitian Bitchery and Abomination because he said that she was a whore because she was having
Yes.
sex with the doctor. Yes, and Abomination for Christmas for the boy. Mm. So that is where we leave them at the station, and
He was mad too, no? It's mad too. It's madness, no? It's
completely,
a
completely, yes. But now she is the one who takes the decision. She is the one who gives the orders, and he accepts it.
yes, yes. She reacts, no, but well,
30,
I don't know why to see him
yes,
again.
yes, to see him again. Yes, to see him again. And this is what she will tell Hightower, that she only wants to see him before
Yes,
they kill him, before they condemn him. No? So this is a very hard situation. She suffers a lot.
very. It's a terrible
Terrible,
situation.
terrible situation.
Yes.
Uh, and in the next chapter, chapter 16, we meet Byron again. Yes. Let's see, we have 3 minutes. So the next chapter, chapter 16, is very important because we go back to Jefferson and we meet Byron, Hightower, yes, and this couple, yes. Uh, Byron comes to tell Hightower what has happened, and in the first paragraph, it is in italics. Uh, Byron says, "Again, the disturbing I have done him. Even he will see that disturbing is nothing now. And on Sandy again. But then I reckon Sandy would want to take revenge on him too, being as Sunday was invented by folks." So he comes to Hightower's house to tell him that they have caught Christmas. And he finds Hightower sleeping in an armchair, yes, and
Under a tree, under a tree.
under a tree. And Byron knows that he will bother him because he will wake him up and he will tell him that that they have caught Christmas. No, and in the dialogue, if you go to the dialogue, it says, "Caught him Christmas in Mottstown. He came to town, and near as I can learn, he stood around on the street until somebody recognized him. Caught him. Hightower is sitting up in the chair now. And you have come to tell me that they have, no, ain't anybody done anything to him yet. He ain't dead yet. He's in the jail. He's all right. All right? You say that he is all right? Byron says that he is all right. Byron Bunch has helped the woman's paramour sell his friend for $1,000. And this idea that uh, Byron Bunch comes and tells him that Lucas has sold Christmas for $1,000 is similar to the passage in the Bible when Judas sells Christ for some coins. No?
Yes.
So again, the comparison between Christmas and Jesus Christ, yes, appears here.
Okay. We are game over.
Yes. So next week we discuss chapter 16. We are near the end. Yes.